Hey, it's been a while. It's me, Foti. So, I want to talk about sports, and I want to try to mix in uh, one of my other favorite things being Pokemon with sports. So, I'm a Knicks fan. Basketball, in my opinion, is probably like I think the most enjoyable sport to watch as a spectator, in my opinion. And uh, yeah, I'm a Knicks fan, as I said. So naturally, I've seen some really bad basketball, but last few years, basically since COVID, it's been a different story. Almost each year they've gotten better as a team for the most part. They had the year with Kemba Walker, and that wasn't that great. But then the year later we got Jalen Brunson, and yeah, then now we have this squad here who like I love every guy on the team, and regardless of how far this team goes, this is like some of the most fun I've had being a fan of this team. And I just want to compare them to Pokemon because what else would I do? All right, so we got Jalen Brunson first off. So I want to try to make this, try to explain this, I guess, for people that I don't know what if you why you be watching me if you don't care about sports, Pokemon, or religion, I guess. So Jalen Brunson is the captain of the team. He's undersized for his position. He has, I guess, maybe average athleticism to others in his position. Um, he's a below average defender, even for people at his position. And yeah, there was a lot of negatives going against him. However, however, he's also one of the best offensive players in the league. He's incredibly efficient, can kind of score anywhere from the floor. Amazing in drawing contact. He's a good distributor. Doesn't turn the ball over too much, and he's incredibly clutch. In my lifetime, I'd say. Oh, sorry. I should say my lifetime. In my viewing years as a Knicks fan, so about 15 years, easily the best player. Sorry, Carmelo Anthony fans, but easily the best player. So, with all that said, I compare him to Mega Metacham. Mega Metacham is one of the scariest wall breakers with pure power. I believe it hits, I think, 656 attack. And combine that with already a high power stab move of high jump kick, even resists will get to a KO'd oftentimes. Now, it's not the most offensive least sound Pokemon, but, you know, he tries, and he's not weak to rocks. Which brings us to Cat. So, Cat, or Karl Anthony Towns, this is a guy that when I was younger and the Knicks had like their worst season. I think we won 17 games that year. This is the 2014 to 2015 season. Um, Basically, like everything went wrong, and I was hoping we'd end up with the first overall pick. And I remember watching Kentucky University of Kentucky games, and that team was stacked. Like Karl Anthony Towns, they had Devin Booker, and some other players who would become NBA players. Um, anyway, I was in love with Karl Anthony Towns as a prospect, and when we ended up with the fourth overall pick, I was incredibly distraught at first. But then, 10 years later, we ended up getting him. So if I told the young me that, I'm sure they'd be very delighted to hear that. Anyway, so Karl Anthony Towns, probably the best offensive center of all time, at least when it comes to the perimeter, I should say. I think saying he's the best all time is a little disrespectful and not true. But he's definitely the best shooting center of all time, I'd say. Basically, shoots from near the logo and often makes it. I mean, he's had a down year by his standards, but Still doing pretty well. The great defensive rebounder. He's a, I think, an underutilized passer for his position. I think he makes some really great passes. Um, Basically, on the offensive end, he does pretty much everything you want. On defense, it's another story. But he's big, he's strong. I think he just doesn't quite know sometimes what to do, or he misses assignments, or just makes silly fouls. But I think this year he's been a little better in that regard, a little bit. So I compare him to Volcarona. So much like Mega Metacham, Volcarona is a very offensive Pokemon. Really scary. Has like the best boosting move in Quiver Dance, or one of the best boosting moves in Quiver Dance. Um, Already is fast, so it hits hard. Has basically all it needs, and it's kind of scary if you're not prepared. But it does have a 4-time rock weakness, so it's not the best defensive Pokemon. Even though it does have some good defensive traits, it's not the best defensive Pokemon. All right, now we're going to OG. So OG Ananobi, one of the best defenders in the league. Somehow it's never been on a first team all defensive team, but I think when you watch him, it's clear he's just incredible on D, and he's not bad on offense either. He's one of the better corner 3-point shooters. Excuse me. He has got decent shot. He's pretty strong going to the rim. Um, and I remember really enjoying him as a prospect in his draft year. I believe it was 2017, and he fell because of injury. He went all the way down to like wherever the Toronto Raptors picked that year. I think it was like 22nd or something. Amazing steal for them at that position to get OG, and I remember wanting him for a long time, and it's not again another player I wanted, and then we ended up getting him, and I was beyond happy. And I feel like trading for OG was when we went from like a decent team to like, oh shit. So I compare OG Ananobi to Landorus Therian. So Landorus has like really strong attack and stuff, like 145, but I think primarily it's often been used defensively because of its great typing of ground flying, making it immune to ground, electric, resisting a lot of common physical types. The Intimidate also adds more to his defensive profile. But even without any investment in attack, it still hits pretty hard. So I think Landorus is perfect for OG. And I think Landorus, much like OG, basically any team can use an OG. Any team in the league would love to have him. Like he's that kind of player. All right, now I got Mikal Bridges, probably the most controversial player here. Well, last year I would have said that. So during his draft year, I believe it was 2018. I think it was 2018, right? I want to say 2018. Same year as Jalen Brunson. Or was it 2017? No. It was 2018. I'm pretty sure it's 2018. I'm gonna look real slowly if it's not. But anyway, same draft year as Brunson. And I remember the Knicks had the 8th pick. We took Kevin Knox, who I actually liked at the time. Though I think at the time I was more into Miles Bridges. I wasn't as into Mikal because I thought Mikal was older. I thought his upside was pretty limited, and then he made me look silly, becoming like one of the best 3-and-D players in the league. But he also has like an incredible like efficient like mid-range shot. He's a solid secondary or tertiary distributor. He makes some big plays on defense. He went to the finals with the Suns as like their primary, you know, defensive wing. He's a good player, and the Knicks kind of traded most of their assets in terms of draft capital to acquire him during the offseason prior to the 2024-2025 season. And yeah, he kind of had like a bit of an up and down season. Definitely had some highlights, but he didn't look like the McCall that we were hoping for. And part of that could have been due to the coaching not utilizing him correctly. But this year he looked like a classic McCall, I'd say. But even so, like previous year he had amazing games. I remember during Christmas he basically like willed the Knicks to beating the Spurs in Wemby, which is nice. He basically got like the defensive stop in the final possessions of both of the games against Boston last year in the playoffs. So I compare Mikel to Slowbro. So Slowbro is pretty reliable, pretty consistent. You know what you're getting. And with Regenerator, the guy just doesn't go down easy. You just keep bringing him back, and it's got so much utility. Skull, Thunderwave, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, even Calm Mind. You can have games where it becomes a win condition. So I think Slowbro is a good comp for Mikal Bridges. All right, now the last player, the first guy we traded for here, and second we got overall after Brunson, Josh Hart, my favorite Nick. Now Josh he's a jack of all trades, and I wouldn't say master of none because I think he is an elite rebounder. Like for a guy who's 6'5", like he regularly, or it's not. I shouldn't say regularly, but it's not uncommon to see him get like a double double as a 6'5" guy. So I think often he's listed as like the shooting guard in this lineup. To me, he's more the power forward with all the things he does on the rebounding side, and um, I don't know. He plays like a bigger man than he is, and I really love that about him. He's got a lot of energy. Even if he makes a mistake, then like next possession he'll like correct it. Like maybe he'll make like a costly turnover, but then he'll get like the steal or cause a fast break or something, and then get an easy transition bucket or pass out or kick out to the corner for a three or something. He just does so much. Like rebounding, passing. This year he's been shooting better. It's funny, like he's having like his best shooting season so far, and his hands like busted up. Like I don't understand it, but he's just been confident this year. So the biggest knock on him, I think, was the shooting. And now, right now he's really showing like no, major flaws in his game. So yeah, I just love this guy. He does everything you could want out of a player, and yeah. So anyway, I compare Josh Hart to Clefable. So much like Clefable being all around solid, none of its traits wow you. Clefable's got pretty mediocre stats, honestly, for the most part. You look at them, but when you pair that with its typing, its move pool, its abilities, just all things it can do, it becomes like greater than the sum of its parts. And I think that's Josh Hart. I remember Josh Hart as a rookie. Anything like an energy guy, whatever. But over time, I saw him get more and more. I guess just like comfortable and growing his role. Like each year he seems to like rebound a little more, pass a little more, score a little more, and this year he started off on the bench, but he just proved to be too valuable to come off the bench, and he's been starting, when healthy. And there's a big difference when he's out. So, um, much like OG, I think any team would love to have a Josh Hart, and I think Josh Hart, as I said before, or maybe I thought it before. I feel like when we acquired him after we signed Brunson in the offseason before, I feel like that's the first really big trade we made for this core. I mean, I don't think it was. And man, he's been even better than advertised. It kind of reminds me of when Boston traded for Derek White from the Spurs. Derek White just kind of kept growing his game with Boston. Although we didn't, well, let's say I think Josh Hart's a more handsome man than Derek White, and their games are a bit different, I'd say. So yeah, that's the next starting five as Pokemon. Specifically, I'm thinking of or SOU or Gen 6. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little exercise, little fun thing I did, and yeah, I'll see you soon, hopefully.